These new full body trackers from HTC are a pretty big deal. But why, you may ask? Well, they offer true standalone full body tracking for VR, and they offer full body tracking for PC VR without any base stations, which means you can use these with the Meta Quest. Today, I'll be chatting about the new HTC Ultimate trackers, how they work, how to set them up, and whether they're a good option for you or not. Full disclosure, HTC did send these out to me and is sponsoring this video, so don't consider this a review per se, but rather an overview and first impressions. Let's get into it. Firstly, what is full body tracking and why should you care? Full body tracking essentially allows you to use your feet in VR games. So you can have realistic full body avatars in games like VR Chat, kick some baddies in Blade and Sorcery, use avatars in Beat Saber, or play rhythm games like Dance Dash. And to do this, you need external trackers to track the rest of your body. And previously, the only way to do this was with things like the HTC Vive trackers, which need external Lighthouse base stations to track the trackers, and a PC for them to work. And all of this can get really expensive, which is why these HTC Ultimate trackers are a pretty big deal, because they don't need any of that stuff. They use inbuilt cameras on the trackers to track their position at all times without needing any external sensors, except for a tiny USB adapter. It uses 6DoF or 6 degrees of freedom technology, which is inside out tracking similar to what's used on the Quest Pro controllers, which is technology that is generally pretty alright when it comes to tracking. Now, I absolutely love the design of these trackers because they have this clip design that allows you to easily clip them in and out of your body straps. All you have to do is push the sides of the trackers and clip it into the provided attachments or your supported body straps. I have the body straps by Rebuff Reality that was made for the Dance Dash game, and these are seriously so good. They're so easy to put on, and being able to clip the trackers into the strap so easily and then remove it is just such a game changer. But there's also an adapter with like a standard tripod thread that you can use as well. So this can work with your existing HTC Vive straps as well. There's also a USB-C port for charging and then a little power button at the top with an LED light. You also get a tiny USB dongle and an attachment for plugging it into your PC. Now you can use these trackers completely standalone without a PC, but it only works with HTC supported headsets, which includes the Vive XR Elite or the HTC Vive Focus 3. And I have a full review on the HTC XR Elite linked down below if you want to learn more about that headset. So it doesn't support standalone Quest, but I'm kind of hopeful they'll support this in the future. It might have to be through sideloaded apps or something, or maybe modders will find ways to make it work. But for now, you can't use these standalone with a Quest, but you can still use them with the Quest on a PC, and I'll talk about that later. So to use the Ultimate trackers with the XR Elite, you just need to plug the adapter into the back of the headset, jump into the settings to connect the adapters, and then it runs you through an initial setup process. And this is the cutest calibration process I've ever seen in my whole life. You basically have to squat down and look at this little creature thing as it pops out of these tree trunk holes to calibrate your play space, which is kind of odd, but I also kind of love it. They could have just kept the calibration process really plain and boring, but they decided to make it fun and cute, which I totally respect. And once you're all calibrated, then you can play some games. Now at this stage, I think there's only 3 games that are supported for now since it's a new product, which is VR Chat, Dance Dash, and Rezzil Skillshot. First of all, I jumped into Rezzil Skillshot, and this is basically a soccer game. So I got to kick some balls into some goalposts, which was actually such a trip. I've been playing VR for a long time, so I've trained my brain so much not to want to kick things in VR, but having to use your feet in VR just felt so wrong, but it was really cool. It was like a new experience I haven't had before, and it just felt really realistic. It also realistically showcased my bad soccer skills as well, but this was a cool experience. I then jumped into some Dance Dash. If you haven't seen my recent videos, I'm currently obsessed with this game. I was really excited to see how the Ultimate trackers worked with this game, because the concept of Dance Dash is that they tell you to strap your controllers to your feet, which can be problematic. For things like the Quest 2 and 3 that uses like inside out tracking, as soon as you strap the controllers to your feet, they're outside the field of view of the cameras on the headset, which it needs for tracking. So for playing games like Dance Dash, so that really creates some restrictions with this game. Usually I use the Quest Pro controllers when playing this game, but I often have issues with them slipping out of their body straps because it's not designed for it. So to have a new option to play Dance Dash is very, very cool, and it works really, really well. I was able to get some really good combos, which I found I was able to get better with these than I was using the Quest Pro controllers when I tried that. And I didn't lose calibration or anything, or any drifting. It just all worked really well. And it makes sense why DanceDash teamed up with HTC on launching these ultimate trackers with the straps. They did have a deal that when you ordered these, you got the straps for free, but I think that's ended, but I think you can still buy the straps on their website. But I think for fans of DanceDash, this could be a really good setup option. I then jumped into some standalone VR chat, and to be honest, I really think these are a perfect use case for VR chat. VR chat is a massive game, and I know so many people are fans of it, but again, to do the full body tracking thing can be really expensive. But with the ultimate trackers, you don't need any of that. You can just connect it directly to your HTC XR Elite, and then you got a completely standalone full body track setup, and the tracking worked great in my opinion. There was no drifting, and the body movement felt really realistic. I only had 3 of these, but you can connect 5 at a time, so you can add more trackers to like your elbows and knees if you want. But to be fair, I've never played VR chat. It kind of scares me. But I had so much fun playing around with the avatars in the home menu, and I'm kind of starting to see the appeal of being a furry. Because seriously, having a tail in VR is so cool. I never knew how fun avatars could be, and like having a tail that you can like move around and it reacts to your movement, it was cool. It was definitely a new cool moment for me in VR, like having a tail. So now I'm like, maybe I will have to try out VR chat. But anyway, the microphone on the XR Elite is really decent as well. It is prone to a bit of peaking.
I think I finally understand furries.
But if you want to explore the XR Elite for a VR chat headset with the trackers, and I think that's the most ideal use case for the headset with the trackers. Because with the XR Elite, you can also buy other things, like you can buy the facial tracker to get things like this, which is a wrist tracker. So if you're wanting to use hand tracking in games, this kind of enhances the tracking and the experience as well. But it's clear to me that HTC is really dedicated to that like VR chat audience who wants that realistic avatar experience. So I think if you are one of those people, this stuff like this ultimate tracker and the HTC XR Elite may be right up your alley. Another advantage of this setup with the XR Elite and the ultimate trackers is that you can use it anywhere. So I know like pole dancing is really big in VR chat. So if you wanted to go to a studio or say a different room in your house that actually has a pole, you could actually go there and completely wirelessly use the full body tracking in VR chat. Or if you're a madman like Chris Quits Reality, you could like do some stuff outside, which I don't recommend, but you can if you want. I really like that these open up that kind of option to do full body tracking anywhere. Now, when it comes to using these with PC VR, you can use these with any supported Steam VR headset, which means you can use these with your Quest. You just need to install and run the Vive Streaming Hub software. And at the time of filming this, the support for the ultimate trackers is in beta, so you may need to join the Discord to get access. But once that's all installed, you just install the USB adapter into your PC and then run through the calibration process. Now, this setup does take a bit of time, so what you have to do is stand in the middle of your play space and move the trackers around your space so it can scan and calibrate the whole area. And once that's done, you then run it through a calibration with the controllers from your headset, and you do that by doing a figure 8 motion, and that's what syncs everything up with the standalone headset. And once it's all set up, you'll be able to see your trackers in Steam VR, and they work exactly like any Steam VR tracker would. So I was able to play a bunch of games that supported full body tracking, but I think a real benefit for content creators allows you to easily use avatars in mixed reality. So say if you own a gaming PC and say a Quest or an XR Elite, you can film yourself in mixed reality using an avatar using the Live mixed reality software. And I know a lot of people do this, and again, it's great there's now an alternative option without having to worry about the cost of installing the base stations and buying the 3.0 trackers, etc, etc. So now you can just use the ultimate trackers instead. And while I do think these are great, I did come across some issues using them in my green screen area. The tracking on these does not like plain walls, and my green screen area has 3 of them. So I did have some issues scanning my room initially. I found if I had a bit of distance, it scanned a bit better. And also they advise you to have things like posters or photos or things on the wall that the tracking can scan and bounce off of, because that's a pretty important part of this technology. When I was using this play space, I didn't have any issues because there was lots around for it to bounce things off. So just something to consider if you are looking at getting a pair of these. But again, at the time of filming this software is all in beta, so things could definitely change and improve over time. So in conclusion, I think these is a really good option for the right people. I think if you have a standalone headset like the XR Elite or the Meta Quest and you want to explore full body tracking and don't want to invest in the cost of buying base stations and 5.3.0 trackers, then this is definitely something to explore. I think the most perfect use case is for full body tracking in VR chat or wanting to use avatars in mixed reality. Or if you're really keen on Dance Dash and really want to play that game, these are also a really great option for that. If you're a content creator like me and looking to film things in mixed reality in a green screen space with blank walls, that's my only like hesitant part about it. I'd really love to experiment more to try and get that working well. But again, through software updates, it may improve over time. I'm really excited this technology exists. Like, it's no secret that standalone headsets are becoming the mainstream VR headset everyone has. And the fact that there's now more standalone options for things like full body tracking makes it way more accessible for a whole lot more people. And it's exciting that HTC continued to support that area because not a lot of other brands are. And yes, there are other companies in this space, like the Tundra trackers are another option, but again, you need the Vive base stations for them, so that's an additional cost. You've also got your Slime VR trackers, but their technology is a little bit different. It uses different tracking technology, and I've heard it's prone to drifting. I was thinking of doing a video comparing all the trackers, so if you want that video, let me know in the comments. But for now, I think the Vive Ultimate trackers is definitely a good option worth exploring if you're looking to do full body tracking. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'll answer any questions in the comments. And of course, make sure you write banana in the comments so I know you watched all the way through. And I'll see you next time.